Welcome to Math with Mr. J. In this video, we are going to be covering multiplying negative numbers. We're going to take a positive times a negative times a positive, and then a negative times a negative. So let's jump right in to number 1. So for number 1, we have 10 times negative 7. The first thing we need to do is multiply 10 times 7. And that gives us 70. This is not the final answer though, because we have a negative number involved, that negative 7. Whenever we have a positive number times a negative number, our answer is going to be negative. So this is actually going to be a negative 70 because we have a positive times a negative. And that gives us a negative answer. So for number 1, 10 times negative 7 equals negative 70. Let's try number 2. So we have a negative times a positive. A negative times a positive. So let's do 4 times 11 first, which gives us 44. Now when we have a negative times a positive, our answer's always going to be negative. So this is going to be negative 44. So number 1 and 2 are very similar. Positive times a negative and a negative times a positive. Both answers, both situations gives us a negative answer. Let's take a look at number 3 where we have a negative times a negative. So we need to do 3 times 18 first, which gives us 54. Now, when we have a negative times a negative, it's much like a positive times a positive. We have the same sign for both numbers, and it's actually going to give us a positive answer. So our answer is 54 for number 3. Now, number 4, we have a negative 25 times a negative 3. So negative times negative again. 25 times 3 gives us 75, and if we remember from number 3, a negative times a negative equals a positive. So the answer to number 4 is 75, a positive 75. Okay, so there you have it. Those are the rules for multiplying negative numbers. So a positive times a negative equals a negative times a positive equals a negative, and then a negative times a negative equals a positive. Hopefully that helped. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, peace.